welcome to this little Borgcast extra special thing to fill in a bit of time.
Because we moved house and stuff.
And things, and then Paramount's been messing us around with Discovery. And
Paramount are cunts!
Yes.
Someone's not getting a screening copy.
Screaming copy, maybe. As you can tell, we're joined by Mr. Andy Poulastides.
Yes, hello. The emergency podcast hologram is online. You forgot to turn me off last time. I've warned you about that.
You've got quite hot, actually. I'm sorry about that, but there you go. I'll just put a fan on you. You'll be fine. We thought we'd talk specifically about Destination Star Trek, which we all went to last weekend. What time of recording?
We did.
You went for the whole gamut, did you not, sir?
I did. I went for 3 days.
Whereas we went for, 3 hours?
Would you like to guess who chose wisely there?
Well, we all bought tickets a year ago, I guess, when it was originally supposed to happen, and then with one thing and another, it didn't. And lo and behold, they set a date about, 2 months ago? Ridiculous like that, wasn't it? When it was happening, it was like, oh, crap, we're moving house about then, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, yes, we had all of, 2 weeks to settle in before, hitting Destination Star Trek. So we just came on the Saturday. We arrived about, 10:30, 11 o'clock?
11, I think it was.
Yeah, which was great because there were no queues. We just waltzed straight in.
We started queuing because we'd assumed we'd have to queue, and then it turns out that was a queue for somebody's photograph. And then we could just walk further up and walk in.
Yeah.
That was good.
That was amazing because in previous times when we've gone to these things, if we turned up at the crack of dawn and queued for ages to get in. No, you turn up at 10:30 and that is not a problem. And we sauntered in and we almost immediately found Mr. Martin Thompson, which was lovely.
But the first thing that happened is we got asked if we could have our photo taken.
That's true. We were in our lower decks uniforms. Go on the Facebook group and you'll see us in all our glory. So it was all very exciting. And what was there? We saw games. We spent money on games.
We did.
Say more Star Trek
Attack Wing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we went to a talk. So in previous years, we've booked tickets for talks and stuff. This year, we just turned up to one of the free talks, and it was bloody amazing.
It was brilliant. It was LGBTQ plus representation in Star Trek. And you had Andrew Robinson, who played Garak, talking about how difficult it was actually to play Garak as gay and how he was glad he got away with what he did, but he wished he'd managed to do more because that was the 90s and Rick Berman the cunt. And
that's 2 C-bombs already. My heavens.
Can you tell I'm cross? But then they also had Wilson Cruz, who plays Colbert in Discovery, and Blue Del Barrio, who plays Adira Pole, and a dude who does fan things and runs Star Trek Online.
But it was also gay, so there was a logical. And he was, quite often when you get these things and it's, X, Y, Z, big names and a fan, and that the and a fan is slightly embarrassing. He was all right.
He was okay.
Yeah. But the main thing about this panel was the fact that they'd done it on the smallest stage, the freebie one, but it was not only was it packed, every chair was full, but there were rows and rows of people standing behind us. And actually the actors came on stage and just burst out in tears because they just weren't expecting that amount.
They've basically been told that, it's
a minority.
It's a minority thing. There's not going to be that many people because, and it's the free stage, whatever. And the person who was, I don't know whether hosting is the right word. She had the mic.
She was from the Trek Ladies. Andy, do you know her?
Trekkie Girls.
Trekkie Girls, that's it. She was really good as well, actually. So, again, sometimes the fan that's the person who's introducing it, or Garrett Wang, are a bit embarrassing, but she was brilliant, and all credit to her for keeping it all together, because there was an awful lot of emotion.
There was.
And it was just a really powerful thing to be part of. I mean, you shouldn't be surprised. It's Star Trek, for heaven's sake. But let's face it, as was pointed out, Trek hasn't always got it right. So, it was nice to be able to celebrate that aspect of Discovery where they do get things right.
Yeah.
So was that. There was meeting with friends like Andy, which was lovely. There was some lovely photos that your friend took. What was his name?
Ken,
yes.
Yes.
I don't know if he listens to podcasts, but shout out.
He does not.
Oh, right.
He does not. He only knows Star Trek as it's the one that doesn't have the white people, the plastic white stormtroopers in it.
Yes.
That's the only way he knows the difference.
Yeah, no, he did seem pretty clueless. And when I was wearing my Go Climb a Rock t-shirt under my Lower Decks uniform, he was like, what the hell is that all about? I said, it would just take too long. It's in references to a series, in a series. But anyway, so and then we left about sort of 2:30, 3 o'clock.
I think it was about 3ish we left.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And we were really happy. We'd had a wonderful time, but we'd clearly not been there actually that long. Let's hand over now to Mr. Andy for his response.
My response, well, as listeners to the Borgcast and other podcasts may know, I attend a lot of conventions. I do enjoy a bit of cosplay, playing dress up, and this was much the same. I really enjoyed it. This was quite possibly the single worst convention I have ever attended.
Oh no!
Not because of the content. I love Star Trek. Star Trek continues to be amazing, and the talks like the LGBTQ representation in Star Trek was fantastic. There was one about women in Star Trek that was really, really good as well. John Billingsby and Max Rom. I can never pronounce his surname.
Yeah, I know his surname is a nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah, they did a really funny comedy panel. All of this on the free stage. But if I could sum up this convention in 3 words, it would be cynical cash grab.
Ooh.
This was a pathetic convention, and for an official Star Trek convention, no, it's absolutely terrible. I won't mention names of companies and anything like that, but the company which runs this, I think they cater for the fan who wants to meet a celebrity, get a picture, get an autograph, and that's fine. A lot of people enjoy that. That's what they go to conventions to. They want to meet their stars.
You do pay through the nose.
Pay through the nose for it, but that is what they want to do. And if that is what you want to do at a convention, that's great. And this is the sort of convention which normally would cater to that. And in years gone by, what they've done is they've brought in lots of big names. I think the last one we went to, they had like Patrick. This was just before Picard went off, so you had Patrick Stewart was there. You had a lot of the Deep Space Nine cast because it was around the time that the What We Left Behind came out. So there was a lot of promotional work for there.
Yeah, they were nearly all there except for Avery Brooks, I seem to remember.
Yeah. And a lot of the Discovery cast was there.
Yes, you had what's it? Jason Isaacs.
Doug Jones. Yeah. Now this year, obviously with COVID, they had originally scheduled for the cast of Voyager to be there for a big reunion.
Yeah.
It being the 25th anniversary of Voyager, but in the end, only 2 of the main cast attended. And what got a little shady is allegedly, they knew that a number of these cast weren't coming a while ago, but they didn't publicize it.
Ooh.
And they have a no refunds policy. Like if your guest doesn't show up, you get a voucher for someone else or for another convention.
Well, nice.
Which I'd
get to see Carrot Wang.
Yeah. Which I don't particularly like. If you don't want to get autographs, though, there was nothing here for you at all. There was 3, quite frankly, laughable set pieces, a terrible shuttle that looked shocking.
Well, the shuttle was the best of the 3, I thought. But
it was the best of the 3, and it was still shocking. A Borg alcove, which in previous years used to light up, but now doesn't.
Oh, really? Is that what it's like? It's the same bloody
It's a broken Borg alcove.
Oh. Is that the one that used to be on in the ever-diminishing Star Trek prop and costume museum that gets smaller every year?
Yeah, it is, because it's the same lot. And lastly, a Horta.
Just no.
Which apparently has taken a grievous wound, exposing the expanding foam it's made out of.
It actually looks less realistic than the Horta does in the story it appeared in, which is good going because that's just a blanket, isn't it?
Yeah.
We have that. There was.
It wasn't the Voyager bridge. It was
supposed to be the Voyager bridge, but it was really 2 barber's chairs and a $15 LCARS poster stuck on the back of it.
Yeah.
It was bad. I saw some people putting their so-called Voyager bridge photos, and I'm looking at it thinking, really? Really? Because when we went to our first one in Birmingham, I think it was in Birmingham. It was a while back now.
No, the first one was XL.
Yeah, 2016.
2016 they did Birmingham. They had the Enterprise D bridge, which
that was really good.
Yeah, I mean, you've still got the photos from that, haven't you?
Yeah.
They had a TOS bridge there, which they've used for a few years, and that still looks okay, although you can certainly see the gaffer tapers holding it together at this point. But they had 5 stalls for selling stuff, and I counted, there was 5. They had, and I'm finger quoting here, please hear my finger quotes, a prop and costume museum again,
Yeah,
It
which
gets
gets worse
smaller
every
and
year.
worse every year. It was tiny.
The best thing about it this year was the Lego ball cube, which clearly wasn't actually part of it, but was just outside.
Well, I'll say the best thing in there was two things. One, they kind of hid my friend Lee Stringer in there, and it was delightful
Yeah.
to catch up with Lee and have a chat with him, who was very accommodating. And they also had a chap called Wayne, who is building a studio scale model of a 4-foot Enterprise D from
Yes.
original molds, which looked
That
beautiful.
did look good.
It's
Yeah.
not finished, but it already looks good. And as I say, the Lego ball cube was actually really good as well.
But that was there in 2016 as well.
I hadn't seen that then.
No. But yeah, the prop museum, which featured about maybe a dozen costumes.
And that was it. There weren't any props either. When it was
No.
originally there, they had a display case with like Klingon disruptors and stuff in. That weren't there this time
They
round.
had about a dozen costumes, which were kind of haphazardly placed on mannequins, one of which was just kind of like drunkenly stood up against a wall.
Yeah.
Very limited signage as to what's what. And
some
signs,
of it was inaccurate as well.
Yeah.
And signs saying no photos everywhere.
Yeah, like that would matter. I mean, sure.
Yeah.
But also as well, you had one for the Enterprise, as in the series Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
They had one sign that's saying original Archer costume, Archer being the character. And then they had another one saying original Trinier costume. That would be Connor Trinier, who played Trip. Be consistent with your fucking labels.
Yeah, and it wasn't one of his costume anyway.
No, a lot of them weren't actually what they claimed to be. It was just bizarre. I mean, it was bad last time, but because a lot of the costumes last time were really tatty.
Yeah.
And what's obviously happened is the really tatty ones, they've gone, oh, we can't put those out again. They look too shit. But they've not got anything else.
They haven't got any new stuff at all. They haven't bought
In fact,
any.
I seen about, wasn't last time was the one where they had some decent ones, at least from Discovery?
They did, yeah.
Like Emperor Giorgio's.
They did a nice one, yeah.
They had stuff from Picard last year as well. They had the Enterprise D, the Stargazer, the stuff from the Picard Museum. They had those props there last time, but that wasn't here this time. And while I do understand, there's times of COVID and everything, it can be difficult, especially with shipping there. But if you weren't interested in any of the paid talks or getting any celeb signatures there was maybe 45 minutes of activities there in that hall. It was smaller than Birmingham, and this kind of annoys me a bit as well, because you were both there on the Saturday, weren't you?
Yeah.
Now, the Saturday was the busiest day, but it got quite busy on the Saturday, especially around where the photo areas were.
Yeah.
But the Excel was empty. There was nothing else going on there. Spread it out over 2 halls, people. There's no reason you couldn't have done it other than you'd have to pay for it.
Yeah, that's the reason, money, isn't it?
Well, I mean, that's why I come back to cynical cash grab, really. It's designed to try and milk as much money out of you as possible without any outlay, because nothing there was new for this year. No. All the signage was the same as previous years. All of the displays and the set pieces we've seen in previous years. Even the official merchandise they had on the official merchandise stand, it was a ton of those 50-year pins they had from 2016.
I got a new mug because I needed a new work mug, and I picked one up with spaceships on it. Now, I'm not complaining because it's a nice spaceship mug, and it was the price of a nice spaceship mug. It wasn't overcharged, but it did say on it 50 years. It's a mug that, had I needed that mug in 2016, I could have bought it then.
Yes. Yeah. So it's just recycling a lot of what has gone on in the past. Now, I had a lot of fun on the weekend, but that was despite the convention, not because of it. Because what I love about conventions is I love to dress up in a uniform, in a costume, which was great. And I love to hang out with my friends doing the same. And I got to do that. I got to see both of you. Got to hang out with Martin, which was fantastic. We saw Drew and Tracy, which was great. My friend Joanne and Alan and Colin and Laura and Grace, they were all there in the uniforms, and we had a lot of fun just kind of laughing around. And basically, there's a thing when if you go to a bad convention with friends, it's quite fun laughing at the bad convention. So we enjoyed that quite a bit. But I could not in good conscience recommend anyone go to Destination Star Trek next year. I wouldn't recommend it, frankly.
I would only recommend it if you've got friends to meet up with. That's the thing.
But even then, what I would do is I would put my costume on, my uniform, go to the Excel, and I'd just hang out in the centre causeway.
It was a bit cold. That was the only thing. If it was earlier in the year, that might be.
Well, it's going to be in September next year, I think it is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's better.
Well, we might not be able to go anyway because it's youngest birthday weekend. But for me, when I went to the 2016 one, we paid for talks and to see people and stuff because we wanted to do that. We wanted to do what they were offering, and we enjoyed it. But we live in London. We have family in Birmingham, so if it's in either of those locations, it's not as though we've travelled some way specifically to attend the convention. We've either travelled to see family, or it's like, an hour away up the road. The people I feel sorry for, I felt a little bit sorry for them in 2016. I felt incredibly sorry for them this year. Is anybody who had paid out money, not just to go to the convention, but for accommodation and travel. Who, anyone who didn't want to get an autograph or, and a photo, or, that had been their plan at the start didn't turn up. Either of them, and then the cost of the travel and the accommodation, what you get without your paid talks, what you get, without all of that is not worth the money. And I feel really sorry.
Do you know how much the top tier package is for this event? Guess. I'll tell you what. Shall I read some of the things you get with it?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So this is what you get with the top tier Admiral package. Okay, you get 3 days entry, a given, an exclusive 16x12 poster signed by all the guests attending the event, an exclusive meet and greet with a Star Trek actor. Doesn't say which one, but an exclusive meet and greet. An exclusive meet and greet on the Sunday, so it's Saturday and Sunday, an opening ceremony ticket in the best seats of the house, access to all the paid talks, but I will remind you, paid talks do clash, so you can't attend all of them. You get VIP priority seating. You get one in-person autograph from each guest taking part in an autograph session, and one individual standing professional photo with each of the guests, a green screen photo, but no guest and no props. A bridge photo, but once again, no guests. Priority photography access. Priority autograph access. One ticket to the Friday and the Saturday parties. And incidentally, this year, the party lasted about 30 minutes.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Access to the VIP green room, which I'm reliably informed was not used by any of the guests. They had a separate green room. Access...
Wow. Kind of pointless.
Access to the VIP liaison, a goodie bag, which includes a premium bag, a hoodie, a mug, 3 collector's enamel pins, a baseball cap, a 10x8 signed photograph of an actor not at the event, a souvenir program, and a lanyard, and a selection of exclusive merchandise. So for all that, what would you be prepared to pay?
£100?
Prepared to pay, and what I bet they charge over 300.
Okay, so you bet over 300, but what are you prepared to pay?
Let me think.
Bear in mind, it's all going to be Garrett Wang.
Yeah. So you've got access to all 3 days.
But it's not 3 days worth of things to do. That's the thing.
No.
Yeah. And a 3-day ticket, just for reference, is £50.
A 3-day ticket, but I wouldn't want it. A load of shit I don't want that I've then got to throw away. Probably want the mug. Lanyard's useful. Want a hoodie. I'll have the photographs and the autographs because I can auction them on eBay when I don't want them. There were 2 talks I think I would have gone to if I could have been asked. So I'd have paid for those. So I'm going to say 75 quid tops I'd pay for that.
Okay. That package, the Admiral package, can be yours for the low, low price of £2,999.
What the fuck now? What? the fuck off. Not you, I mean them. Fuck off.
£3,000. £3,000 is what they're charging. And so what you saw this weekend, presumably some people paid £3,000 for that.
No.
Oh, I feel so sorry for them.
Oh. I think
did anybody? I hope they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're somebody in another year, no, not a COVID year, in another year, I can imagine people who are big DS9 fans when they did the 2016 one.
Yeah, that probably would have been. Well, I mean, again, I wouldn't have paid that.
I wouldn't have paid it, but I can see people who would have paid it and not felt cheated, because there were loads of Deep Space Nine talks, and even if some of the paid talks clash with each other, there were free talks as well that were Deep Space Nine.
And I mean, part of the kicker is that this was going to be the big Voyager one. So if you're a Voyager fan, this was like a smack in the teeth, basically.
I mean, to be honest, if I were a Voyager fan and I paid that, I would currently be taking the company, holding them through the coals via trading standards.
Well, let me give you another comparison here. So this is the big Star Trek convention here in the UK and in Europe. In the US, you have Star Trek Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if this exactly lines up, but you have the gold convention admission package, okay? Which you get complimentary in-person autograph sections from us. You get to select from 12 or 13 celebrities, admission to the Thursday night party, admission to the Saturday night gala, admission to the dance party. It would appear you have a comparable amount of activities here in this gold one, and a much wider selection of guests in Las Vegas, just because by the nature of it, they're based in the US. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you like to guess how much that package would cost you?
Grand?
Yeah, $1,000.
Yeah.
So what you can do then is you can spend the extra $2,000 on flights to the US and accommodation,
a decent hotel and flights to Vegas, and go to that one, and you would probably still be better off. And while I haven't been able to attend Las Vegas myself, I'm going to try and do it next year. But
I don't blame you.
It seems like a much better experience than what we were getting at DST.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't, because we didn't spend that much because we only had the entry.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
I wouldn't be paying for the gold package anyway, because I don't particularly care about meeting celebrities. But it's, from what I understand, because I didn't get to go to the 2012 one. You guys did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was good, wasn't it, though? That was like night and day compared to this.
That was the one where I had my photograph with Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Which is why I haven't bothered with the photograph since, because you're not going to top it. Well, not just because of like he's Picard, but because of what he was like. The person in front of me in the queue was on crutches, and the people running the convention were sort of trying to sort of chivvy her along, and he put his hand up, walked away from the camera, and said, "No, you will wait until she's ready." And then he went back into position and he said, "Come on, take your time." And he said, and she sort of was arranging herself near him, and he was like, "Are you comfortable? Make sure you're comfortable. I want you to be happy and comfortable. This is your photograph." And he took his time to make sure that she was going to look her best in the photograph she had paid for with him. And then I went on like I was after her, and it was like, brilliant. I've not only got a photo with Captain Picard, I've also got a photo with somebody who's considerate to the fans. And I like that. I was like, I'm not going to get a better experience. And that's why I haven't bothered with any photographs since.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed that one. Now, we did have a paid talk, if I remember.
Yes.
In 2012. Not that I can remember what the talk was.
No, too long ago. But that was a good experience. 2016 was a good experience. This was only a good experience because we had literally spent as little as we could.
Yeah.
And we
hadn't seen anyone in 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. It was meeting friends that we'd not seen in so long.
And it was local. I'm even if it had been another one in Birmingham and we'd gone to stay with family in the Midlands, I think we might have felt that was a journey that wasn't justified.
Yeah,
whereas this was just effectively a commute. Do you know what I mean? Because we live in London and this was in London.
And not a difficult commute either, I hasten to add. So, it was good for us, but you can just imagine that for some people it was a real kicker.
Yeah. I think my feeling when it comes to Destination Star Trek, it would be, if you are local, it's worth you going.
A local convention for local people.
Yeah. But basically, that is my feeling. Destination Star Trek is good if you're local. But if you're not local, I wouldn't recommend it.
I mean, I remember in previous ones, we've had people from all over Europe come. But, I mean, unsurprisingly, they didn't this year.
No. I mean, the one I was sort of tempted by is to see what they're like. Are they any better than in Germany? I do speak some German.
Well, I believe it's the same convention. It's called Destination Star Trek. It's called
So it
Destination.
will just be shit, but in German.
Basically. Well, I don't know because
I
I don't know that though because I don't think we're going to ship the set pieces between the countries. So if they have better set pieces already set up there, they're probably already in place. I really couldn't speak to that, so I don't know. But to give you a sense of just how cheap and fuck it, that'll do the convention was, as you walked in to the hall, after you've shown your pass into the single hall, right?
Mm.
There was a carpet on the floor right in front of the shuttle. It was a promotional carpet for the German DVD release of Star Trek Nemesis.
Oh my god, I didn't see that.
No! I'm sorry, I missed that now.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's really bad.
So I mean, this just stinks. As I've said before, I do quite a few conventions, and the one I did prior to this was MCM, which was the first convention I'd done post COVID.
What's that like?
So MCM is a much bigger event. It actually kind of takes up the entirety of the Excel. And
Okay.
I balked at the price. I mean, I didn't have to buy a ticket in the end because a friend gave me one. But the price for the 3-day priority entry was 80 quid. And I balked at that. I'm thinking, like, that's a lot of money. Okay. But it was the entirety of the Excel. And there was so much in there in terms of stalls, but also activities. They had games set up. They had creators there who, comic creators who were drawing pictures. You had talks that were all free. There were no paid talks. You had Tom Hiddleston, Sophia DiMartino, and the other guy from the Loki show, not Owen Wilson, the guy who showed up at the end. But anyway, they had some big names there, a lot more guests. And it was a much better event to go to with things to see and to do that didn't cost you money outside of your, ticket for entry. And yeah, I mean, this Destination Star Trek has kind of made me appreciate just how much you get from MCM. Because it's like, wow, you get a lot of bang for your buck there at MCM, comparatively speaking.
So yeah, it's a great place to meet up with friends, but we wouldn't recommend it beyond that.
Yeah. If you're local and they're having one, great. If you're not local, don't travel.
Just here's another thing for you. Screening room they had there.
Yeah, that's just like a sort of tent and it's a bit shit.
They had a tent with 3 TVs set up, which they couldn't even sync properly. At one point, they started playing the DVDs in German with French subtitles. I'm not kidding you.
Wow. Wasn't it supposed to be the Prodigy first episode or something, which they've also denied us? So, yeah.
Well, they did play that on the big screen, which a lot of people went and saw. And, Kate Mulgrew was supposed to introduce that. From what I gather, her introduction was... well, they asked me to do this thing, and I thought about it, and I decided to do the thing. Enjoy.
Yay. Yes, because somebody went to one of her talks, Hedge Scout.
Joanne, yes.
Yes, and she wasn't massively impressed with that either.
So, all in all, no, not a thumbs up for me for Destination Star Trek. If you missed it, don't feel bad, because you really didn't miss a huge amount. I'm not saying I won't go to the next one, because as I said, I'm a sucker for playing dress up and hanging out with my friends. But I'm very much more inclined to just kind of go and hang out in the central corridor.
Yep. Pay the minimum is my advice. Pay the minimum, meet up with friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you have to travel to do that, find a friend to stay with so you're not paying accommodation costs. And you combine it with seeing a friend.
We've got plenty of spare bedrooms here. Just let us know.
Yes, you have.
Alrighty, folks. Well, that's enough whinging about this. But, it was a good place to meet up with friends. But beyond that, I really wouldn't give them your good money. The joyful situation we find ourselves in is that apparently, and this, I suppose this might...
I'm afraid this has been confirmed. This is official.
Yeah, that we are not getting Discovery Season 4.
Well, at least not legally, but fuck them.
That be the attitude there. I be sorting you out.
Shush it, Captain Pugwash. So, as per usual, we'll be taking the ethical policy of only covering this thing when it's available to everybody. So it's looking like when it comes out on Blu-ray, folks. So don't hold your breath for Discovery Season 4. Not that we were particularly anyway, but, you know. Yeah. Although thanks to that talk, I am looking forward to seeing how Blue Del Barrow's character develops in Season 4. So that's my main reason for wanting to watch it. But anyway, we will cover that when we can. So we're looking... Hey, Star Trek Original Series.
Yeah, what have we got, though? Is it good?
Editing Peter here to let you know that we'll be covering Conscience of the King next. That will be next Thursday, the 25th of November. Do feel free to let us know what you think of that story. It's available on Netflix. Whoa, what a novelty. Okay, thanks for joining us, Andy.
Oh, you're welcome. Any time to have a whinge about something, I'm always here for you.
And you can find Andy, of course, on the Great Derelict podcast over at Libsyn and
GreatDerelict.libsyn.com and on Facebook and Twitter and places.
All those places. And
Yes.
he also does stuff about motor racing cars as well.
And Into the Expanse, I presume, will be returning when The Expanse does in December.
Oh, well, hopefully as long as Elton's available. But yes, we just had the Season 6 second trailer drop and...
I haven't seen that yet. I've seen the first, I haven't seen the second yet.
Oh, it's on the Derelict Facebook page. Well worth checking out. Yes.
Thank you, I will be looking.
I think Andy just had a moment. Okay, we'll catch you when we cover the original series again. Cheerio, bye.
Bye.
Ta-ra.
Hey ho ho, you'll cruise the foreign shores.
See you, lads!
Keep your mind
Show 'em you've been practicing!
Out of doors.
True friendship and adventure are what we can't live without.
And when you're a professional pirate,
that's what the job's about.
All music referenced is for illustrative purposes only, and no copyright infringement is intended.
Find our website at borgcast.libsyn.com.
We have a Facebook group which you're welcome to join.
You can find the Borgcast playouts on Spotify for your listening pleasure.
Visit our Tumblr site at borgcast.tumblr.com.
Send emails or MP3s to borgcast@gmail.com.
Or you can contact us via Twitter on rev_org or Borgcastammo. #Borgcast.
count to 10.
On occasion, there may be someone you have to execute.
But when you're a professional pirate,
you don't have to wear a suit. What?
Shut it down!